Today, in Flex in the City, we talk to Olivier Portenseigne, the Chief Executive Officer at FundsDLT and Head of Digital Clearstream Fund Services. Olivier dives into blockchain, leadership and the future of fund distribution. All that happening right now in Flex in the City. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Rachel Crease, and I'm absolutely delighted to have a gentleman I've known for many years, Olivier Portenseigne. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Olivier is the CEO of FundsDLT, and he's also heading up digital for Clearstream Fund Services. Olivier, welcome, bienvenue to Flex in the City. I'll try a few French words as I interview you for this session.
Merci, and thank you for having me. That's a real pleasure to be on that podcast.
Absolutely. So, Olivier, you were born in Metz, I understand. Wow. Très bien. Fantastic. I love Metz. I love going there. It makes me feel like I'm in a new world. So tell me a bit about your career and how you came to be doing the job that you're doing.
Oh, that was a long journey. It started basically a bit by a pure hazard, let's put it that way. My, I would say, diploma was not calling me to be in financial services, but more in administration. So that's when my father basically at one point told me, Olivier, look at Luxembourg and what's happening there. So I went there and started basically as a temp in transfer agency in a company that was called First European Transfer Agency.
So yeah, I was transfer agency too. So there you go. Yeah, we share that in common.
Well, basically, I was starting there, basically keying in manual trades, reconciling certain stuff, etc. So I started really at the bottom of the hierarchy, let's put it that way, and grow gradually to end up years afterwards to heading globally transfer agency at RBC, because the first transfer agency, people remember, became Dexia Fund Services, Dexia, and then RBC, and now CACEIS. So I was heading transfer agency, which was a pretty large team at that time. And then, let's put it that way, I was a bit frustrated basically by the way fund distribution transfer agency was operating as a business, but as a whole, not necessarily. But looking at alternative basically, and I joined basically then the Luxembourg Stock Exchange to a fund market infrastructure. That was the name of the project at that time, which became FundSquare. So I was heading FundSquare at that moment with that ambition basically to create a new market infrastructure, helping people basically to be more efficient in distributing funds at the time. So, I mean, and it was a very interesting journey because I was heading that team, which was a spin-off basically of Finesti, if people remember as well, which was jointly by the Luxembourg Stock Exchange. We took that over, make it become FundSquare with the ambition to create that new market infrastructure and basically evolve the product range and the service out of that company, which we successfully done because we moved from a company doing probably 3 million revenues at that point to a company doing 20 million revenues when I left. And that was being sold as well. But in parallel, basically, of FundSquare, that's where blockchain technologies started to emerge into, I mean, that's where the moment when we looked at it was in 2016. And we thought that it would be probably a good technology to look at to really build that brand new generation of market infrastructure supporting fund distribution. So we started piloting, and we even gave a name to that project, which was already FundsDLT. Then pretty quickly, I mean, we saw a bit the magnitude of that project and the ambition. So we decided together with my shareholder at the time, so the Luxembourg Stock Exchange, to spin it off and create a separate legal structure. And then we basically created FundsDLT really in 2020. With the first successful funding round with a couple of other shareholders that joined the venture, like Natixis, Credit Suisse at the time, and Deutsche Börse. Then we started building the infrastructure, getting the first clients onboarded on that platform. And then second funding round obviously started, and that's where typically decided to acquire 100%.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
The journey. So it was a bit of a mix of learning, management, leadership, mixed also with entrepreneurship, basically building businesses. And that's always what animated me to a certain extent during that journey. And it's now 28 years already in that journey. And yeah, and to a certain extent, the motivation come also to more personal things like leaving a footprint into our industry.
So you and I shared two things. We started life in transfer or agency in our careers, and we have daughters. So my daughter's just started a French business school. She's in the United Kingdom, Olivier. If you were to explain to her, this 19-year-old, exactly in really simple language, what FundsDLT does, how would you explain that in really simple?
Well, pretty simply, like I would do with my daughter, even if sometimes I'm not sure exactly if they understand exactly what we are doing. But fair enough, they are still young and don't appreciate completely what we are doing in that industry. I define, and even sometimes with prospects or internally or with clients, it's we are the plumber of fund distribution.
Okay, the plumber fund distribution. Okay.
So basically connecting through a single technology called blockchain all these intermediaries in that very long chain.
And so now you're part of Deutsche Börse, Clearstream Fund Services. So what's been the beauty in that integration?
No, I think the beauty of that integration and basically the acquisition is certainly that, and if you look at it really as a trend also on the marketplace, because similar actors like us, because it's a market infrastructure play, we are all ending up basically into the hands of a market infrastructure because we are reinventing the backbone of how fund distribution is operated. And that's what I'm saying to my team. That's probably the best thing that could have happened for our company to integrate basically Deutsche Börse and Clearstream Fund Services more precisely, because it provides certainly the network that we were missing somehow. So in that spirit of connecting institutions and people, it's a so large infrastructure that we can capitalize and leverage quite a lot on this. Second, from a product offering, certainly there's a lot of complementarity that we can build. And also what I'm saying is that Clearstream and Deutsche Börse has been very courageous to acquire us, because to a certain extent, we are trying to disrupt them at the same time. And that's a good way, basically, in that complementarity aspect to basically accompany that transformation, because I don't like neither that word of disruption, because we are not really disrupting, but more transforming. And that's a very good way for market infrastructure to accompany, anticipate, and not suffer from that transformation. So from a sales perspective, obviously, it's very interesting because we benefit from the firepower of a very large organization. And also running a startup is not easy because you rely a lot of sometimes on one-man show. So we create obviously a lot of synergies from especially support function, etc. But let's not go through into the details. And again, leveraging on that strength and the credibility of such an actor like Clearstream certainly open up doors that we would not have been able to open up for certain clients. So that's great. I think the team is happy. We are happy in integrating the Clearstream family and bringing somehow that startup to the next level, which is not certainly easy journey. Sometimes we forgot that moving from a startup mode to a scale-up mode is not happening from one day to another. Phase in itself to make that transition. And that's typically a bit the moment where we are today, is bringing scale to the company, growing, acquiring clients. So, yeah.
And I'm curious, you've been through this journey of 28 years. If we if you had your sort of crystal ball and you're looking forward 10 years, in 10 years, my daughter's going to be 29. You'll have a 25-year-old daughter and a 20-year-old daughter in 10 years. With AI and everything that's going on in our world, what would your prediction be on where the industry's going?
No, and that's where I think it starts to be very interesting, because my firm belief is that fund distribution, transfer agency, I think that's the future of our industry, both in terms of cost, transferability, making sure that our industry gets more efficient, but also in that spirit of getting more digital. Because we all know, and looking at my kids and probably yours as well, Rachel, we are all behaving very differently when we acquire or buy products, and financial products won't be different.
Yeah.
Everything will be digital. I mean, that journey already started for quite a while, but it will be a much more profound, I think, transformation when it comes to the backbone of the infrastructure, thanks to blockchain, which will make us move from a, I would say, 8x5 operating model to a 24x7 operating model. We may want a bit of free time as well, not working 24x7, but that's, I think, the next generation on how we are moving going forward, especially in the fund industry, because the fund industry, even if you could elaborate to financial services in general, is a bit anachronic versus other industries that are far more advanced when it comes to digital. If you look at Amazon, etc., I mean, it's not really existing in the financial industry. So we are moving that way. Now the question probably is it 10 years? Is it 15? Is it 20? I mean, I'll probably if the audience and the people listening to that podcast project themselves in the future. But my firm belief certainly is that everything will be blockchain based going forward. Now, if you plug that as well to AI, that's where you can get massive advantage, because the main benefit of blockchain is transparency on who's buying, selling products, which today fund manufacturer don't
Yeah.
get a view at all on it. They're pretty blind today on to whom they are selling their product. They know the intermediaries, but not Rachel, not Olivier, and the retail investors. So that's where blockchain will provide that capability. And if you plug AI to that, basically that's where you will be able to perfectly understand the behavior of people in that predictive, I would say, nature of AI, and anticipate basically their behavior and design better adapted products, services. I mean, what I call the hyper personalization of the offering, which is existing in many other industries. So certainly future will go in that direction. And if you look at your algorithm on your iPhone, that's exactly where we are moving. So that's my firm belief, and certainly a direction that we are all taking, not only in FundsDLT, but in Clearstream as a whole. Yeah.
So back to our girls and young people who are maybe wanting to enter the industry. What are going to be the skills that are going to be needed by young people, and what are going to be the behaviors that those young people are going to need as they enter this industry?
I think it's all a network business at the end of the day. So I would recommend any people joining that industry is to create the network, and also now build, because that's something that we can sometimes regret in certain board of directors or other governance, I would say, is tech skill set. And you need to be a programmer, but a good understanding on what technology can bring and transform a business as a whole. So I think network, technology, and I would say leadership is obviously at the heart of creating a vision, distilling that vision into the team, and making a whole teams in movement, basically, to make that vision becoming a reality. Because creating a PowerPoint to describe a vision is very easy. It is very different together with a team, and embarking also an industry into it. Be very passionate around what you do. And that's where coming to the personal motivation is very important to be convincing. You need to have that personal belief. And that's what I'm saying also, thinking about my two daughters, is that willingness that to create for them a better access, a cheaper access to their future retirement. And I firmly believe as well that funds will be the product of choice for our future pension.
Yeah. That's the heart of what you do, isn't it?
Exactly. But at the end of the day, it needs to be cheaper and more accessible. And that's the whole motivation in the background, is to make funds accessible everywhere, anywhere, by anybody, cheaper.
Just a quick question, because I'm always interested in leadership mindsets. What would you say it is about your mindset? What is your mindset, and how's it got you to where you are as a leader?
I think I don't know whether it's skills, whether it's qualities, weaknesses, but a lot with humility somehow when we approach something, and also how we approach. But again, I think the real difference, I think, from a leadership perspective is really how you embark your team into a journey. So communicating constantly around that vision. So I think it's very important to bring them that vision, that animate them the same way I am animated and motivated to make that transformation and change. Not always easy, especially as a company grow as well and embark new people. So that's where obviously leveraging on your colleagues, because that's not a one-man show. That entire team journey and effort. So that's very important to get your team very close, very embarked, so that it's getting very fluid into the various teams that are embarked in that journey. So communication, the vision is everything.
Talking about vision and things you like doing when you're not running FundsDLT and working out blockchain and you're not in the vision, what is it that you like doing when you're not a dad as well? What is it that you like doing in your spare time, Olivier?
Giving back time that I'm taking away a bit during the week. So really being present with the family during the weekend. That's very important. That famous quality time that you need with your daughters and with your wife as well. And second is cooking. I love cooking. Family, for friends. I mean, that's probably as well a way to, because there's a lot going through food, and it's about giving back. It's about sharing. So sharing, giving back is very important.
And what's your favorite dish that you love cooking?
The famous puree, a bit at la Rebuchon, with a lot of butter. Yeah.
Lots of butter. So here's your big question, the big coaching question. What is it that the financial services industry could learn from the glorious boeuf bourguignon?
But it's the harmony of the ingredients, basically, having that. So I think it's, I mean, the success in finance industry, like the success of a good boeuf bourguignon, is the harmony of different skill set. The mushrooms talking with the wines, talking with the, So that's all this harmony of ingredients. And that's not only for the boeuf bourguignon, but as cooking, it's putting things together, different skill set, different origin. So that diversity that we need in the finance industry that makes, I think, our industry so exciting, because look at Luxembourg. I mean, different nationalities, different origin. I mean, that's so great. So you learn so much from different people coming from different horizon and not necessarily coming even from the financial industry. I mean, I was not meant to be in the financial industry. So that's what is interesting, I think, is putting all these ingredients, skill set together. Yeah, to make the mayonnaise.
Olivier Portenseigne, the CEO of FundsDLT and digital at Clearstream Fund Services. J'ai adoré cette conversation. Thank you so much, Olivier, for joining me.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Flex in the City. We hope that you found inspiration and valuable nuggets of wisdom to elevate your leadership journey. Don't miss out, subscribe on your favourite platform, and if you enjoyed the episode, please do leave us a review. Your feedback really matters. Thank you.